We are flying high in those Canadian skies, man. And I'm not talking about Air Canada with their raggedy ass stewardesses. Nah, man. I'm talking about Alpha Flight. Alpha Flight. Yeah, and we're going to take a look at 13 covers of Alpha Flight in the 1980s. That's 13. Because Canada, the nation of Canada, is made up of 10 provinces and 3 territories. This is the Pop Culture Cosmonaut. All right, like, comment, and subscribe. Do it. Do it. Of course. Of course. You know what I'm saying? So, for all my Canucks out there, all my Canadian peoples out there, why don't we get started with number 13 on my list? All right, and this is Alpha Flight number 12, a special double-sized issue with a monumental ending. But you know what? Just because I put this cover here, it doesn't mean this is my 13th favorite Alpha Flight cover. Nah, it isn't. This is somewhere in the hundreds or something. I hate this cover. I hate it. This to me is a 1-star cover. Or 1 maple leaf, maybe. Alright? I despise this cover. I think this cover is an insult to the comic inside of it. For how important the issue is, this deserved better. And in fact, I think this is an insult to all Canadians from from east to west and down all the way down to the border. All right, I'm not feeling it. John Byrne did this cover. He has some great work on covers, but this ain't it. And this is in April of 1984. This cover is straight hot trash, man. I hate it, man. Rant over, but I had to vent about it. Okay. Let me get that off my chest. Let's move on to more pleasant covers, why don't we? All right, now the next one here. This is Alpha Flight number 14. Okay, What Lurks in Lake Ontario, and Heather Hudson in a brassiere, getting pulled down by some tentacled monster, while Puck stands on the shore, looking on in horror. I guess maybe he can't swim. All right, but I don't know, man. This looks a bit suspect. I hope it's not some hentai stuff going down, because we don't play that in Canada. We don't do none of that up here. Well, some people. Anyways, no, we don't do that up here. All right. Heather Hudson lost her husband a couple issues before this, but decided to go for a swim, go for a dip. All right, got over that pretty quick, right? Nah, I'm just playing. But yeah, Lake Ontario, not the best for swimming. I'll tell you all that. Go a bit up north a little bit. Take a drive up north if you want some real nice water to swim in. All right, let's go on to number 11 on my list. And this is Alpha Flight number 17. All right, now this cover might look very familiar, doesn't it? All right, this is basically a remake of X-Men 109, which came out in 1977. It's a remix. Okay, so in this one, it was John Byrne, who basically imitated the work of Dave Cockrum, Terry Austin, and Irv Watanabe. All right. I mean, this John Byrne cover is great, but I think I prefer the original. So for that reason alone, I couldn't put it much higher than this, could I? There's nothing really wrong with the John Byrne cover, but there's just something about the original that just pops a little bit more. I like Wolverine's reaction, or rather getting uppercut the way he is. A little short uppercut with his left. He looks surprised to have gotten hit by that. Colossus also surprised by what's happening. Banshee and Storm rushing from the back. Either way, they're both great covers, but I don't know, man. Something about the X-Men one just pulls it ahead, and you know that's why I'm sorry, y'all. I had to put it relatively low on the list, but it's all good. It's all gravy, and we're gonna move on to the next one. This is number 10 on my Canadian countdown of provinces and territories. Alpha Flight number 1. the first dynamic double-sized issue. And look at this, the Alpha Flight roster proudly pushing Spider-Man, Cyclops, Captain America, the Fantastic Four, Thor, Daredevil off to the side. Even the Richards child, Franklin, is there grinning, watching Alpha Flight take center stage. All right. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about this cover? The thing that I really hate about it is the damn yellow in the background. I think it is nasty, absolutely nasty in this context. Otherwise, it's a pretty well drawn cover. I like the reactions of all the other heroes, smiling and looking on with, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're impressed or if they're bemused, but it's a good look. And I love how Guardian looks in the middle here. He really does look like a proud leader here, doesn't he? Yeah. I mean, for a first issue, it's a pretty suitable cover, but that yellow is just fugly, man. Yeah. But we're going to boogie on down. We're going to go to the next one on the list. This is number 9. Much later, issue 26. And the members of Alpha Flight here defeated by Omega Flight, Diamond Lil, Flashback, and Wild Child, who you see. And who do you see on the right with the white glove and the red on the suit there? Who do you think that is? All right, but y'all know, and man, I like covers where the villains seem to win, and you see here defeated. It makes you want to know, oh damn, what happened? How did things go down this path? How did things end up like this? All right. Puck in the front doesn't look too worse for wear. He might just be catching a breather. But the others here, Talisman and Heather Hudson in street gear, they look out of it. And Northstar, slumped in the back. They're done. All right. Yeah, and by the way, this issue came out in June of '85. John Byrne and Bob Wyasek did this work. Yes, indeed. We're going to move on. Number 8 on my list here. This is Alpha Flight number 6. A pretty unique cover by John Byrne. Listen, this is a very iconic and memorable cover. It certainly is. I love the font where it says Snowblind in the bottom right, or the bottom of the cover here. I love that. I don't know, would I call this a gimmick cover though? According to my subjective rule, it kind of is, I think. I don't know, it's really simple, obviously. There's not a lot going on. It is, again, very striking because of its simplicity. This one kind of breaks one of my rules. I always like the team to be involved on the cover for me to put them on my lists. The team has nothing to do with this cover. It's really just Snowbird here. And by the way, Snowbird up here has some different connotations. It can refer to an Air Force, Canadian Air Force group that does all kind of stunt flights and so on. They do all kind of air shows. All right. And fun fact, I saw a Snowbird pilot crash and die back in 1989. Some of the Torontonians watching this might remember that happening. Man, that was tragic. But also it can mean, Snowbird can also mean some old people from up here that moved down to Florida when the going gets tough during the winter months up here. So it's not just some hero in Alpha Flight to us. It means other things, man. But anyways, this cover, nice cover, but lacking in several departments, I think. Let's go to the next one. Now, this one is Alpha Flight number 5. Now, this one also is not really an Alpha Flight cover. It's a Puck cover. But there's a lot of dynamic movement. I love it. Puck leaping out of the letterbox to Shaman, or Shaman. I don't know which way we should call him. But to his surprise, Puck just flipping out. This must have been a tricky cover to draw by John Byrne. Tricky, but probably a lot of fun, I'd imagine. The one thing I do not like about this cover is the background. Some of these covers are kind of jobbing it on the backgrounds, I gotta say. I wish there was something else going on, and even a different color. That muted yellowish, whatever that is. What kind of choice was that? Also, the word Puck. You got to be careful typing that out. It's easy to mess that up and give it the wrong look, wrong effect, But Puck, we're talking about Alpha Flight. We're talking Canada. It reminds me when I was a kid, man. I loved goalies. I loved goalie masks, and the best goalie I remember growing up was Pelle Lindbergh of the Philadelphia Flyers. Intimidating mask. Terrific goalie. This guy was unstoppable. He died in a car accident in '85, I believe, and I remember that. He was at the peak of his career when he passed away. R.I.P. Pelle Lindbergh. Great goalie, and could have, I don't know, gone down as one of the best of all time if his career had stretched out. But let's move on from that. Listen. Alpha Flight number 24, all up in here. Look at this cover, man. This is a busy one. There's a lot going on this cover, that's for damn sure. This is John Byrne again. He was doing a lot of work for Alpha Flight in them years. This is April of '85, and join them in the strangest journey ever. Okay, join them as they seek a man's soul. So this was Sasquatch, Walter Langowski, his soul at stake. Spoiler alert, his soul enters box, the robotic, almost mechanized hero of Alpha Flight. So this creepy, fantastical cover, I think, would really make you think, oh man, what are they in for? What surprises lurk in this realm that Alpha Flight is journeying through? Terrifically done cover, man. I love the colors as well. The background, the environment contrasting with the costumes on Alpha Flight. I think we've made a pretty big step up in quality here. Compared to the early entries in this video. So let's move on to the next one on the list. This one is Alpha Flight number 51. This is my 5th entry here. This is later than some of the other ones you've seen. This came out in June of '87. The work of Hilary Barta and Kevin Nolan. Kevin Nolan, who went on to do some bigger and better things. Yeah, and you see here the new Sasquatch, I guess you can say, yeah. And box, Madison Jeffries, actually. This is the newer box that could transform into all kinds of different, he could do a lot with his body, I'll just say that. And then Vindicator, Heather Hudson flying up from the top. But don't forget, look at the army, the soldiers looking like little green men in the bottom of this cover. And the one in the, they all look terrified and overcome by the sheer power of Alpha Flight coming at them with full force. The yellow background, I don't mind at all on this cover, actually. I don't know, like in some of the, in Alpha Flight number 1, I hated the yellow background. But in this one, I just feel like there's a lot of other things going on. And the details also on the soldiers, and on the Alpha Flight members as well. And the explosions in the air. There's too much going on to hate on this, but it's all well put together. Beautiful work. All right. Let's move on. We're now on number 4. Okay, and this one is Alpha Flight number 34. Okay, and this came out in February of '86. This is the work of Mike Mignola. All right, and he was doing he was doing some of the cover work around this time. Great artist with a very distinctive and unique style. Vindicator, Heather Hudson, and Wolverine laying waste to these samurai henchmen of Lady Deathstrike. I love the pileup that looks, of these samurai here. It looks like a pileup of them going up against these two. I wasn't a huge fan of Vindicator. I'll be keeping it real with y'all, but on a cover like this, she's striking a pretty powerful pose, especially standing over Wolverine like that and enveloped with that energy and the blast coming from her hand. That circular source of energy from her hand makes it really look like serious business with that focused beam coming out of it. That's good work right there. That's just great art. The white background is perfectly fine, man. Perfect. Plain Jane, don't matter, man. I think it works perfectly here on this cover. Great work, man. All right. We're going to move on to the top 3, but I'm going to take a quick sip of some of this energy, man. I need some of this energy. I'm feeling good, and it's a great Canadian moment retrospective right here to the 2019 Raptors championship. All right, Pascal Siakam, number 43 here, doing work in Indiana right now. Spicy P. All right, we got that ring years ago, and we love it, man. We love it. All right, we're gonna move on though to number 3 on the list here, and this is Alpha Flight number 3, issue number 3, which came out in July of 1983. A lot of 3s. Now, again, this cover kind of breaks a rule of mine, especially with group dynamics or team covers. This is basically a solo cover with Aurora. All right, horrified, terrified by this trap of light pulls. The black and white, I think, works beautifully here, doesn't it? And this must have been a pain in the ass to draw, all those pipes and poles or sticks or whatever you want to call them, or beams. But the craftsmanship of drawing those so perfectly, I gotta give it up, man. This is good, great work. This is one of the most memorable covers in the Alpha Flight run, in my opinion. And I don't regret putting it this high, even though, as I said, it doesn't involve a group dynamic, which I think is lacking somewhat. This trap was set by the Master of the World. The Master of the World. A pretty cool villain, man. This guy was like thousands and thousands of years old. I don't know if you'd call him like a Vandal Savage version. Or Marvel version, I don't know. Maybe that's a bit simplistic. All right, but look at this, man. Look at his get-up, man. Pretty cool look. The Master of the World. All right, but yeah, let's go to number 2 on the list. This is Alpha Flight 23. The battle between Sasquatch versus Sasquatch. The white Sasquatch on the left is Snowbird. Actually transformed into a new form here, as the original orange Sasquatch was losing his damn mind, man. He was losing it. But this is a titanic battle between these two. The work of John Byrne once again in March of '85. And then the scattered members of Alpha Flight in the background amongst the rubble. You can just tell this is an epic battle between two titanic foes, at least for this moment. Now, this is issue 23. I covered issue 24 just a few back, where they went to that realm for the soul of Sasquatch, Walter Langowski. This issue has some pretty shocking moments. Memorable stuff. The blue background I think is perfectly fine. I think everything contrasts beautifully on this cover. This was my number 2. It kept creeping up on my list. I didn't want to put it as high as this, but hey, it just kept making it. It kept proving itself. So there you go. And now we are on to number 1 on the list here. Now this is Alpha Flight 11. Now this is a monumental issue. Right before number 12, if you remember, number 12 was the first one I talked about in this video, which I hated, but I do love this cover. It's very simple. It is. Black backgrounds often work nicely. In this case, it absolutely does. Guardian's costume has a kind of a shimmer or a sheen to it, which gives it a really nice glowing effect. And the silhouettes at the bottom, I think, are beautifully crafted in their own way. They're not basic flat silhouettes. There feels like something three-dimensional about them. Yes, it's a pretty simple cover, but I think it immediately grabs your attention. It immediately lets you know this issue is serious business. To save the life of the woman he loves, he must face them. Guardian is in for it. And if you know this issue, you know it ain't no joke in what goes down and how it goes down. Issues 11 and 12. Classic material. Ladies and gentlemen, and for all the people across the nation of Canada and across the world, alright, this was a retrospective of Alpha Flight. An underrated team? An underrated title? Or were they rated just right? But you know what? I gotta say this. I love doing these videos. I love covering covers and so on. But Alpha Flight, I don't know. I didn't find any 5-star covers in this run of Alpha Flight. And there was a lot of other good artwork that was later on in the series that I didn't include in this video. But I didn't really feel like some of those covers really were that memorable. They were well done technically, but, you know, ultimately somewhat forgettable in some ways. So as a Canadian, maybe I'm a little disappointed, all right? Maybe we could have done better, all right? But hey, man, well, it was all good. I mean, I still think Alpha Flight represented, all right? And there you go. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Pop Culture Cosmonaut, man. And we're signing off again.